Hello friends, I am Advocate Khushbu Goyal, Assistant Professor of Podar International College, Jaipur. In this video, we are going to discuss the Indian Contract Act 1872. Is our topic of discussion. This topic is part of business law. In the first part of our discussion on Contract Act, we shall have two brief introduction of this Contract Act. What we shall discuss here about contract introductory part and shall also get meaning of associated of contract like contract, agreement, promise and consideration. Firstly, our topic is Introduction of Contract. Let's start with developing a basic idea about a need and purpose of Contract Act. As a result of increasing complexities of business environment, innumerable contracts are entered into the parties in the usual course of carrying on their business. We enter into a contract so many times in a day that contract has become a necessary part of our lives. Friends, we may have lot of example to contract to daily basis. People purchasing newspaper in the morning or going to movie in the evening or company purchasing a whole of business all are example of a contract. Any business, a series of contract made on the regular basis. We are discussed to basic knowledge of contract. What is law of contract? Contract is the most usual method of defining the rights and duties in a business transaction. Contract law is a form of civil law. The dominant source of contract is common law. A contract is an agreement between two or more parties that is enforceable by law. A contract creates rights and obligations between the parties entering into a contract. That means a contract is an agreement between two or more parties to perform a service, provide and product or commit to an act and is enforceable by law. Example is A. Promise to sell a car to B for 5 lakh rupees and B. Promise to buy car at that price. Arise rights and duties to both parties. A. Sale on time and give delivery on time. B. Transfer money to A on time. When they need to fulfill certain condition in the Contract Act 1872, such agreement become a contract that is recognized and enforceable by law. This act come into enforce 1st September 1872. That means this is enforceable date is 1st September 1872 and was enacted date is 25th April 1872. It's applicable to whole of India including the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Its act was passed by British India and based on English common law. The act was enacted originally had 266 sections. It had wide scope. First, General Principles of Law of Contract Section 1 to 75. Contract relating the Sales of Goods Act Section 76 to 123. Special Contract Indemnity Guarantee Bailment Place Agency Section 124 to 238. Contract relating to partnership section 239 to 266. At present, the Indian Contract Act may be divided two parts. First part deals with the general principles of law of contract section 1 to 75. Second part special kinds of contracts such as contract of indemnity and guarantee, contract of bailment in place, contract of agency. Finally, the object of the Contract Act is to ensure that rights and obligations arising out of a contract are honored and that legal remedies are made available to those who are affected. We are going to discuss next part definition of contract. The definition of a contract is an agreement between two or more people to do something. Example of contract is a loan agreement between buyers and seller of a car. Example of contract is an agreement between two people to be married. Contract is defined as to acquire something or to hire someone to do work. Contract is a child getting life from a classmate. Contract is hire someone to do plumbing work in a house. This is all our contract examples. The Indian Contract Act 1872 defines the term contract under its section 2H as an agreement enforceable by law is a contract. The definition has two major elements. First, an agreement. Second, enforceable by law. We are discussing an agreement and an enforceable by law. Following diagram to explain the contract. Firstly, what is contract and how it is formed? What is offer? When one party gives to offer to another party, may be offer accepted and rejected. When another party offer accepted and agree to all conditions, when the proposal is accepted. Now, this has become a promise. After promise, one party gives a something is return consideration in every contract and agreement must be consideration. It just be real and unlawful. It just be real and lawful. Consideration meaning some money and value of the product. Example, A offers to sell his horse to B for rupees 5,000. Then B accepts such an offer. How now has this has become a promise, and B gives 5,000 rupees to A. This is consideration and accepted proposal and consideration is an agreement. When a person offers something to someone else and the concerned person accepted the proposal with the equivalent consideration, this commitment is known as the agreement. When two or more persons agree upon the same thing in the same sense, this is an agreement. An agreement to become a contract must give rise to a legal obligation. Its agreement is fulfill legal obligation that is enforceable by law. Then agreement becoming contract, an agreement which satisfied all the essentials of a contract and which is enforceable through the court is called valid contract. An agreement which is not enforceable by court of law is called void and invalid contract. Example, there is a contract between X and Y where Y is a minor who has no capacity to contract. This is void contract. This is an agreement between A and B, and A will be construct a house for B and B will be pay rupees 10 lakh to A. The agreement between A and B is a contract because it is the enforceable by law. All contracts are agreement because there must be mutual understanding between two parties for a contract to be formed. Pollock says that every agreement and promise enforceable by law is a contract. Salmon says a Contract is an agreement creating and defining obligation between two or more persons by which rights are acquired by one or more to acts or enforce on the part of others. Anson says the law of contract is that branch of law which determines the circumstances in which a promise shall be legally binding on the person making it. Now, after examining, it defines, sorry, now after examining the definitions of contract, we can say that contract is equal to agreement plus enforceability. Explain to the illustration. There is an agreement between A and B that A will be construct a house for B and B will pay rupees 10 lakh to A. The agreement between A and B is a contract because it is enforceable by law. When agreement is fulfilled, legal obligation that is enforceable by law, then agreement becoming contract. Friends, agreement of moral, religious, or social nature. Example, a promise to lunch together at a friend's house or to take a walk together are not contract because they are not likely to create a duty enforceable by law for the simple reason that the parties never intended that they should be attended by legal consequence. Legal agreements are contract because they create legal relation between the parties. Example, Ajay invites Vijay to dinner. Vijay accepts this invitation but does not attend the dinner. Ajay cannot sue Vijay for damages. It is social agreement because does not create legal obligation. So it is not a contract. B example, A promised to sell his car to B for rupees 2 lakh. It is legal agreement because it creates legal obligation between the parties. So it is contract. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, friends. I hope this video is helpful for you. Please watching the video and thank you so much.